What's going on, y'all? September 2nd, Labor Day. We made it through the summer. So I feel like I can confidently kind of show you what I got carrying around in my Tippy 4b. Didn't want to just throw all the stuff from the TP3 in there and then just call it good, call it a loadout video, because, you got to live with it at least a couple months. And I think through one cooling season to kind of see how everything actually shakes out, what you take in, what you take out. Didn't change it a ton, but I did add in, I started carrying around a high side gauge, which before I always just carried my suction side gauge because, that'll tell you at least if you got bad airflow, low charge, something like that. But ran across quite a few systems that were shutting off on high head pressure, especially a lot of rooftop units, you know how those always are. So it just became apparent that I need to start carrying a high side too. I kind of always knew I needed to. So those pockets are great for that. They're also great. I don't carry those on every call, but throw those right in there. Pretty good. Or if I do, I need both. I usually slide them in there beside my meter, because where I keep that SC440, my fuel piece meter, I like to keep that one pocket open in case there is something I need to grab, like another set of wrenches to work on, say a blower motor on a bigger rooftop unit. I can just slide those in beside the meter. So that way you always got a little bit of free space. But yeah, so my meter goes there. Sometimes these will slide in there. And before anyone asks, if there's anything I'm lacking, like my little pair of 8701 150s or a little quarter 5/16 ratchet, bit, extra battery, that stuff I always carry in my pocket. So down in here, pretty much just got, it's a good spot to hide these. I don't use them all the time, but your stubbies in case, condensing unit's too close to the wall. Likewise, you gotta, not super convenient to get to, you can't just reach in and grab, you gotta get around to it, but also doesn't fall out and get lost. But the Klein stubby multi, it's a good spot for it. Apparently it's also a good spot for screws to accumulate, because just spare screws and some random self tappers I've thrown in there, that was all down the bottom of there, which I guess that's a good thing about that plastic base. It does give you kind of like a little spare parts tray down the bottom, and it's easy enough to dig screws out of there, I think. But I had some pieces of sandpaper, sandcloth, had some random wires stuck in between everything. I cleaned it up before I did the video, full disclosure. These I don't use a ton unless you're checking like on a board or those little Molex connectors, but my extra little probes for the fill piece, I like to keep those on there. So yeah, alright, so keep going here. On the outside, you got some of those breaker panels. The door never stays up, or the cover panel or whatever never wants to stay. It'll flip up and always want to slam down on you. It doesn't stay up. Clip that on there. I mean, there's 1,000 uses for vice grips, obviously, but this is just some cheap ones from Home Depot that I got because I always seem to lose them. So I didn't get any name brand ones this time around. But add that in doors on your rooftop units and some of the bigger stuff. They always want to slam while you're trying to work, and they're sit there and hit you all day with the wind, slap up against you. So you put a pair of those in the joint of the hinge or whatever, it'll save you a lot of frustration. My little XL bent nose pliers, love that for thermostat wires, or just, like I said, hundreds of uses for a little pair of pliers, all kind of stuff, but they come in handy, so I'll keep those. By no means is this a minimalist kind of setup, because I have the multi screwdriver, which I could probably just get away with having that, but then I also carry the quarter and 5/16 Klein magnetic just because I like having it. So this is by no means like the minimalist, like, oh, that kind of a thing. Obviously I got the TP4, not the TP3 or the MP2 or whatever those other ones are. I just have to have something that can carry a meter, so can't get too minimalist with it. And I don't carry all of the insulated screwdrivers, but I do carry a flathead, because this, you can safely push in a contactor. Don't worry about slipping off and hitting your finger, or if something should go wrong or it's faulty, you're not going to electrocute yourself by using some uninsulated pliers or just a regular screwdriver. And honestly, if I'm doing a maintenance, I can usually tighten up breakers or contactors. Most of the time you can get away with using a flathead. So I got the other stuff on the van if I really need it. Tie wraps, crimping pliers. That way I got a pair of dikes more or less, and some good crimpers. Even though the all-purpose pliers do have a crimper, I kind of like those. I'll use both. But the strippers on this, I didn't like them at first, but I've kind of come around. I actually don't mind them now. These did kind of froze up. I had to put some lubricant in there, but they're good as new again. They probably got rained on a couple times, is why. But that way you got some needle nose strippers, and they will cut, but just not towards the end like you need on a good pair of dikes or strippers like that. For TXVs or whatever else you may need, just got a little crescent wrench, a little pliers wrench. That'll usually get you out of quite a bit for whatever you need. Like I said, I don't carry a big crescent wrench on this bag. It's by no means minimalist, but then again, I don't carry the whole, I'm not going, you know, OTXL, not carrying the whole van with me. Don't know why this thing doesn't want to focus. There we go, that's a little better. Thermostat screwdriver, put a little heat shrink on there to protect wires, make sure I don't short stuff out, or at least less likely to. The little multi with small Phillips and flathead, another Klein. And then this is something I carry in addition to a service wrench. We got a lot of carrier stuff, so you always need a service wrench to get into some of those ones that have the refrigeration style service ports on them. But like on this, it always seems to, that shoulder doesn't seem to get deep enough in some of the newer ICP stuff and carrier stuff or Bryant. So I carry my little Ware 1/4 inch Cyclop that's got your 5/16 Allen, so that always gets in there and it doesn't slip out when you're, the crucial time when you're pumping something down, you want to close off your suction side. So anyway, that's just what I do. It doesn't take up that much more space, and then that way you do have a 1/4 inch drive if you want to throw some just some 1/4 inch drive sockets if you need those. You got a wrench to do that with. Little inspection mirror, little pill container, no secret there, y'all know what we carry in that. Little wire brush, inexpensive little level for doing thermostats and, you know, anything else you need a level for. But that's the way to go, because if you drop one of those heavier metal ones or expensive ones, it's going to land on the customer's floor, make a big ass racket, and they're going to think you're cracking their tile or messing up their wood floor. So and that way, you know, this is $1, $2 at Harbor Freight or Home Depot. You lose one, it's not the end of the world. You're not losing your Klein or Greenlee $60 little level, and all it has to be is some liquid with a bubble in it, really, right? Little nylon brush, gotta love those. Shout out to Steve Lav, he's the one that got us all carrying one of those. Jumper wires in here. I did have some other stuff, some fuses and whatever, but that's pretty much, I carry those in there and they're out of the way or easy to get to if I need them. Furnace fooler, not necessary, but nice to have. Once again, not a minimalist kit, but there's a lot of convenient stuff in there. Keep my 1/4 inch impact hanging off to the side. Sometimes I'll keep it hanging on here, but shit, it's starting to tear that, honestly. I don't know if y'all can see that, but yeah, it's starting to tear from having that drill hang on there. It's a little too much weight. It's just designed to have just a measuring tape on that thing, so probably really shouldn't be there. And then you know, at least a couple different colors of electrical tape for marking wires, Teflon tape, and then a little tape measure. Pretty much just use that for making sure my fan blades go on about the same, or taking quick measurements for a change out or something while we're there. Let's see what else. 9/16 and half, keep this clipped to the side, adjusting your motor brackets. It's the little stubby one, it's a Cornwell. I grabbed a few of them on eBay, just randomly, Snap-on, other older, like old vintage American ones. Just, it's good to have one of those on there. I use this mostly just to get the metal, like the caps like this, get that off of there when they're pretty tight. Some of those dudes must put them on with a freaking torque wrench, so it helps for that. And really that's most of it, except for the secret pocket that everybody talks about. A lot of dudes talk about putting their pill container in there. Me, I put a set of blue gloves, stuff those on in there. Then I keep a plastic bag stuffed on the other side, so in case I do get rained on, I'm on a rooftop or whatever else, throw it over the bag, protect your stuff. And that's my TP4b. Later.